In Alien Resurrection, Lieutenant Ellen Ripley is cloned, along with the Queen alien embryo inside of her, from DNA samples found on the planet Furina Fury 161, the location of her death. Back from the dead, Ripley, now with partial alien DNA flowing through her veins, would once again have to do further battle with the Xenomorph species. However, in the overall continuity of the Alien universe, this actually wouldn't be the first time Ripley was resurrected. In events taking place after Alien 3 and before Resurrection, a synthetic duplicate of Ripley was mysteriously created with her knowledge of LV-426 and the Xenomorph species perfectly intact. While the transference of her memories isn't explained in great detail, it's speculated that while in cryosleep for lengthy periods, the Sulaco's computer system may be able to record brainwaves and somehow capture memories. This may explain why Ripley's memories are limited to the events up to Aliens, with no apparent memory of what took place on Fury 161, including the deaths of Hicks and Newt. With a xenomorph infestation threatening Earth, the android Ripley is recruited to assist the military in gathering further intelligence on the species, including further exploration of the planet LV-426, which Ripley is informed was not entirely wiped out by the reactor's explosion, in fact, very far from it. Reluctantly, Ripley joins a group of Marines along with the aid of other teammates who have had brushes with the aliens themselves, Billy and Wilkes. Ripley proposes a plan to capture the Xenomorph Queen in the hopes of setting a trap to lure in all living Xenomorphs to her rescue and wiping out the dreaded species once and for all. Curiously, and unlike other androids we've seen portrayed in the Alien universe, Ripley does not seem to be self-aware and very much believes herself to be the real Ellen Ripley, complete with the haunted memories of her encounters with the aliens. It wouldn't be until later in the story when Ripley discovers her true identity, which sends her into a crisis, questioning her own intentions and, in general, her own existence. It was all she could think about, and yet there was nothing to think. How could she feel? And what did it matter? Her feelings were simulated, false. At least some things were clearer now. Her lapse of time after the Sulaco, the absence of dreams since then, and the intense distrust of doctors, obviously a programmed measure to avoid the truth. Can't let them go poking around in you. They'll figure it out. The why was elusive, and maybe it was pointless besides. All of her beliefs were in question. Androids were not to be trusted. They could betray themselves completely. It was their nature, the way she had been betrayed. During this war with the aliens, Ripley forms an almost immediate bond with Billy, who, perhaps unconsciously, if androids have an unconscious to speak of, she sees Billy as a kind of surrogate of Newt, the girl she was never able to save in her human life. They survive their mission, and the story ends in a very similar fashion as Aliens does, with Billy asking, "Are we going to sleep all the way home?" And Ripley responding, "Yes, all the way home, and I'll never leave you." The only appearance of Ripley's android clone would be in the comic Aliens Female War and its subsequent novelization, so what ultimately became of her is unknown. With a mysterious and limited appearance, many questions are raised about this character, such as how exactly she retained Ripley's memories, why the memories don't include the events of Alien 3, and why does this so-called artificial person seem to so vehemently believe she is, in fact, the real Ellen Ripley? The actual explanation is simple enough. In the original publication of Female War, titled Earth War, the Ripley character really is Ripley. Earth War was the concluding chapter of a Dark Horse comic series, followed by Aliens Outbreak and Aliens Nightmare Asylum, a large arcing story through the Aliens comic series first beginning in 1988. Which served as a direct sequel to the 1986 film Aliens, taking place about 10 years after those events. It focused mainly on Hicks and Newt and their encounters with the aliens, with Ripley returning for the last act of the story. The comic was serialized and concluded about 2 years before Alien 3 came out, and of course with the film depicting the deaths of Hicks and Newt, this left the comic series awkwardly outside the continuity and seemingly without purpose. The solution was simple enough. When Dark Horse republished the comic in 1996, it was released as sort of a special edition. The original publications were not in color, and this new version added some rich detail to the art, additionally changing character names. Hicks and Newt were now Wilkes and Billy. Ripley was still Ripley, but now she had been retconned into an android. While the story remains exactly the same in these new publications, the only alterations would be made in the republished novelization of the story, which goes into detail of Ripley now being a synthetic person. This aspect of the comic isn't explained and may have led to further confusion. But with this change and the clarifications of Female War's novelization, it would appear that at least during one point, in one way, in the official continuity of the Alien universe, Ellen Ripley had an android clone of herself, battling aliens on LV-426. While some of these details, specifically the subsequent changes made, aren't as widely known, in general the Aliens comic series is loved and appreciated by many fans, with some even preferring it significantly to the story offered by Alien 3. With Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5 still somewhat up in the air, would you like to see him make a story similar to these comics, or even a direct adaptation of the original version, including Hicks and Newt? Or would you prefer to keep Alien 3 and Resurrection intact in the continuity somehow, and perhaps go in a completely new direction? Comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to this channel for more videos on the Alien universe. If there's a subject you'd like to see explored here, please don't hesitate to comment below with your suggestion. Follow Alien_Theory on Twitter and Alien Theory YT on Facebook for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.